Welcome back, everyone. We are in the middle of the WFS Industry Awards for 2020 on this day of celebration in WFS Live. After 4 days of content, plenty of panels, great speakers, incredible insights, it's time to really celebrate. And we're going to continue with the WFS Award for Football for Good. Now, in this particular edition of WFS Live, as well as selected other panels on other days, we really focused on day one on what football can do to have a greater impact, to be purpose-driven, to improve our society, to remind us of our values, to help our planet. As we coined it, the football we want, the game we need. Now, we pick up this refrain again with our Football for Good category in collaboration with Common Goal. This was another keenly contested award. The winner was declared a dream, and they empower young people from vulnerable backgrounds to overcome adversity and flourish in a fast-changing world using creative life skills approach. Their after schools life skills program has been driving mindset shifts through sports as a medium to great success. Let's find out more and introduce the winner of this award, the Manager of Fundraising and Employee Engagement at Dream a Dream, Anirban Chakraborty, and he'll be in conversation with the co-founder at Common Goal, Jürgen Griesbeck. Guys, great to have you with us. And Anirban, first of all, many, many congratulations to you. Very well done for winning this award. And Jürgen, over to you for the deeper conversation.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much and welcome, Anirban. We're at the World Football Summit's Industry Awards, the category Football for Good. It is a true honor for us at Common Goal to host these awards for the second year in a row. My sincerest congrats too to you and huge kudos in the name of the World Football Summit, but also the whole Football for Good community, Anirban. Let's kick it off maybe. Dream a Dreamer has a long history of delivery quality impact in the community, based out of Bangalore, India, using football as a tool. Anirban, can you please explain the audience how you do it?
Thank you, Jürgen. I think Dream a Dream this is our 20th year, and we're celebrating our 20th anniversary of since we started. And we work with young people from vulnerable background in the urban communities in Bangalore. And these young people come from the experience of adversity. So adversity affects, when I say adversity, it means they have been abused, they have been abandoned, or they are sons or daughters of a single parent or labor community. And this basically affects their ability to engage with the world, make healthy life choices, and be successful. And when a child misses out of sensitive periods like these, and when the social emotional learning happens, the child is always catching up to the development. And this is very prominent among the young people from vulnerable background. For example, when a child grows up, he or she first starts with standing up and then walking, and that's a development stage. But young people from vulnerable background kind of miss those stages, and we call it as a failure to thrive. Whereas on the other side of coin, if you see, the world is changing at a fast pace. The skills which we learn today will not be there, say, 1 year down the line. So, and it requires skills to adapt, to survive, to thrive in the fast changing world. And we feel the life skills is what is those skills which is very important for the young people. And we use football as a medium to teach life skills. Football, as you know, is filled with life skills, is intrinsic with life skills. Whereas for the skills like, for example, team management, communications, managing conflict. I think managing conflict is one of the biggest phase where right now, as you see with the coronavirus pandemic impacting young people and their lives, I think it's one of the very important aspects.
Thanks very much for that. If I ask you, how would you describe the impact Dream a Dream achieves, like in the community, on the specific young people you work with?
Yeah,
how would that read?
Yes. Yeah, I would like to share a story with regards to that. I think there was one of our young people. Her name is Anita, and she joined our program. I think 10 years back, and when she started, there were hardly any girls playing football. And when she saw boys playing, she also wanted to play football. But there was no one to help her in that sense. So when she joined the Dream and Dream program, that sense of that gave her a sense of belonging. I think the teamwork which she played with the boys, and that and she comes from a very background where girls are not allowed to play, right? And she's while with the joining of her into a football program, she broke so many barriers, and basically the gender norms in India says that girls can't play football, but she joined the team. She is now one of our facilitators who was fortunate enough to go represent Dream a Dream in Russia last in 2018 for the World Cup. And what a change in her! And now she says that football gave a new meaning to her life, and I think that says a lot about how football can change and how and what's our impact is. And our one of our young people, uh, we change the being of them. I think it's very important, and we a lot of them focus on the academic outcomes. But for us, if we change the being of a young person, I think that's one of a major impact. And the being of a young person you can see through the Anita's story of change.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it just reminds me of you can only be what you can see, right? And now
Yes.
so many in around Anita can see Anita and how she has evolved as a person, as a
Yeah.
girl in the
Yeah.
community, and can look up to something and can really see what they themselves may be
Yeah.
in a near future. Um,
Yeah.
when talking about the young people, how do you go about you mentioned that gender or girls are not
Yeah.
meant to play in traditional Indian society. How do you go about
Yeah.
like the environment of the girls, like their parents, their families? How much are they involved in the programs?
Yeah, currently we partner with low-cost private schools, government schools in Bangalore, and the whole program is like a 120-minute engagement, which begins with a warm-up and icebreaker, followed by a team agreement where a team signs an agreement on what we will do this in this session, and then this is followed by a main life skills activity where we use football techniques such as football techniques to build our sessions in works like teamwork, listening to instruction, goal setting, gender norms, and then young people then play football games incorporating the street football rules. That is a football three methodology which we follow, and we finish that off with a reflection circle where young people share the experiences. Bringing in, we also feel that it's important that parents and the community is involved. For example, there was one of the young people called Amreen Taj. She went to Russia, and her parents did not first they were very hesitant on Amreen going to Russia, but when they saw the changes in her, when they saw her name in newspapers, when they saw her being a role model for the community, then they were like, okay, yes, she should go. And she comes from a community where they do not allow girls to even go outside, for example, Bangalore. She hasn't been even outside Bangalore for that matter, and this was the first time she was moving out of India. And before they were very hesitant, but our facilitators, we went and talked to the parents. We explained to them what is advantage, and the biggest impact is when Amreen came back to the community, the locality. She was paraded in a small van up top, and and then she was paraded across the community. And when the young people saw her, I think a number of girls percentages in the community increased massively. So right now we have almost 49% girls playing football. I think that says a lot about our gender balance, which we have done through our program, and we feel that the role model like Anita, Amreen, have made a massive impact to the community, and I think that says a lot about our work in the space.
No, that's really great to hear. It just makes me wonder about, like, when we talk about the power of football, in 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 allowing for like purpose-driven journeys, yeah, like throughout your life, and finding yourself actually, to
Yeah.
then perform as a citizen in whichever community you might want to live in.
Yeah.
That at some point you start play football, and maybe your name is Cristiano Ronaldo, and then you become a professional footballer, and that's your path. But
Yes.
the examples you mentioned are just as valuable and as applaudable, and it's also thanks to football. And I think football
Yes.
is writing a lot of these stories across the whole world, and you and me, we know a lot of them, and we would
Yes.
invite the audience to just dig deeper into what Football for Good is about, and the millions of lives it has saved, and journeys it has allowed to play out. So thanks very much for sharing these concrete examples. Let me ask you
Thank you.
on the pandemic this year. How did it affect your
Yeah.
operations? How did it affect your work with the youth in the community?
Yeah, as you see across the world, also I think the one of the most impacted communities were the young people. I think it was emotional roller coaster for them. I think especially emotionally, social emotional part, because our young people share one room with almost 4 or 5 members of the family, and when they were when they were said to being locked down in the room for almost 2-3 months, that affected their mental health. I think the one part which COVID brought out was the importance of mental health and social emotional learning, and that's where I think our program, we are looking to bring in that social emotional learning aspect, where we feel that this whole program of ours, the after school life skill program, was designed to help realize that we give them the agency within themselves to handle any situation that life throws at them, right? I think that they have the courage to face these challenges like this pandemic, and they have the resilience within themselves to bounce back from any calamity. I think that's what our program has been teaching them for a long time. And again, like you see, the schools won't be the same, the world won't be the same right now, and life skills such as problem solving, creative thinking will be very important. And I think we should all work together to weave the learning through sport. I think the young people right now, and for us, for example, we had been impacted a lot because most of our work was on the ground. But we also started an online session where we right now we designed a learning kit for the young people, where where we have designed particular sessions through sports which they can do at home, and they can send us the videos of them doing it, and we can see how they are doing. And our also facilitators usually call them and see and check on them on how they are doing it, whether they are doing okay, what kind of support do they need. We also provided ration kits to some of the young people uh, who needed food, for example, in this pandemic, because a lot of them are migrant workers who moved on from Bangalore to their villages. And that time, that was the most, I think that impacted them a lot, because we feel that we will also see a lot of dropouts in the schools this year. And it's
Mm,
important to engage those young people effectively, because so that they come back to the schools. I think it's important that young
yeah,
people come back to schools and be what they were before. Of course, things won't be
yeah,
the same, but it's important
totally.
that they come back.
Yeah, no, thanks very much for expanding on that. And it just shows us that the situations are so multifold in different parts of the world, where in some parts people struggle to accept mask wearing or social distancing. There's other parts
Yeah.
where social distancing is physically impossible,
Yes.
as you just mentioned, and where the
Yeah.
stress is coming from a whole different environment where access to clean water is not a self-understanding thing, is not necessarily accessible. So thanks very much for this, and not just for the Dream a Dream group, but for everybody you inspire from the Dream a Dream perspective. Let's continue dreaming and making, thanks to football, a better world.
Thank you. And I will just also talk about this one part where so we started this What If campaign at the 4 months back, and I would invite all of them to think about what if all stakeholders in football come together behind a shared vision and contribute towards achieving global goals collectively. I think it's very important that we all come together, work like a team, as football teaches us to, and towards one shared goal.
Couldn't have phrased it better. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Totally agree, Jürgen. Totally agree. I think it's a really lovely sentiment to end on. We talked throughout this week, and we mentioned all the different panels that we had that were purpose-driven, and even the phrase purpose economy. We need stakeholders across the game to really get behind this. You know, what you're doing is great, but admittedly, you can't do it alone. Hopefully, this prize will help you, move forward towards your goals. But of course, you do need the alliance of other people within the industry with business, and I think that they will hopefully be able to see the world the same way as you do, as we do. Jürgen, you are an incredible ambassador for this as well. So thank you very much indeed for your input. Anirban, many congratulations once again for winning the Football for Good Award, WFS Industry Awards in collaboration with Common Goal. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, David. Thanks, Anirban.
Thanks, David. Thank you again. Bye-bye.
No worries, guys. Great to have you on board for today. And we're going to be moving on with the Best Club Commercial Initiative. That is on the way next here on day 5 of WFS Live. Don't go away.